Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff, here with the HTC One X, the AT&T version. So this is the 4G LTE version that's on AT&T, and I want to give you guys a real world review so that I can tell you what the device is like to use in all day-to-day practicality, so that you can make a well-informed decision as to whether this is the device that's good for you, or if possibly you should go for the quad-core version, or maybe the Galaxy S3. So let's get into it, and I also have a list here, because I had done a preview video asking you guys to ask me any questions that you could think of that you would have liked to know about before going out and investing in this device. So I've got like 1, 2, 3 pages of notes, so this is going to be a very in-depth review. So for all of you guys that have submitted questions, I have to thank you guys so much for commenting and subscribing. You guys are so awesome and you make these videos possible. And I do have to say one thing, is that some people have been complaining about the length of the videos that I've been making. So I have been really sensitive to the people who don't have 30 minutes to sit and watch a really long video review. So if you look down here in the doop-de-doo bar, I have actually time coded everything for you so that on your computer, or if you have a phone that has a flash browser at least, you can click on those and it will pop to those respective points and topics in the video. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. And I have to give Neil out there a huge shout out for helping me develop that idea to time code the video into different sections, and this guy here also for initially pointing that out to me. But there is one thing that I can say, is that I don't want to make several different videos. It becomes kind of redundant and a little bit hard for you guys to find all the information that you need. So wouldn't it be great to rather have everything condensed into a small package that's a long, well-informed video, so that you can definitely choose what the best device would be? It's better to be well-informed than to expect instant gratification. There are some reviews that tell you just the specifications, and great, those are wonderful. But the types of reviews that I'm doing for you guys is so that it's like going into a store or taking the device home and actually getting to play with it. Because I love you guys, and I don't want you guys to make a bad informed decision, and I know there's not many videos that consolidate it all together. So you guys who are complaining about long video times, although you're probably not watching at this point, if you want something that's really easy, go get an iPhone. I mean, I'm not trying to offend any of the people for iPhones, because I like iPhone and all that, but at least if you're expecting an Android device, I expect that you're probably a technology nerd and you're going to be spending X amount of hours researching this thing beforehand anyway. So for the people who don't have 30 minutes, it's time coded. And for everybody else, feel free to nerd out with me and join me in this probably 40-minute long review. Let's get into it. Okay, so which one is better? This is kind of like a little fight here. You have the dual-core processor or the quad-core processor of the bigger brother, that's a Tegra 3. And you really want to know, well, it has 4 cores, right? Tegra 3 has 4 cores and a companion core. Therefore, it must be better, right? 4 is greater than 2. Hello, right? No, that's not the whole story. So in day-to-day use, if you have, let's just make an analogy here. You've got 4 pipes, just say, and then you've got 2 pipes. So you're putting water through a water treatment facility or whatever, and it's going through these 4 pipes, and it's great and all, and it's good at putting the water to its respective places. But then somebody comes along and says, I've got 2 pipes. What if we do that? And they're going to be wider and be able to put more water through, and with doing the exact same thing pretty much that the 4 can do, and now it's more efficient. So if you'd like to think about it in that way, in terms of day-to-day use, you've got 2 pipes, or just architecture that has 2 cores that are built on a very new architecture versus the A9 of the 4 cores. So you have 4 A9s versus pretty much ones that are comparable to the A15s that are coming out. So you're able to pretty much do just as much and more efficiently with 2 as you can with 4. So that ends up working out in the scheme of things that people are seeing that it has better battery life with the S4, that it's extremely fast and can push just as much data as having 4 cores. The thing is that they kind of rushed it because they wanted to get in competition and be out before the end of the year. So the graphics processing unit, the Adreno, kind of sucks right now. I'm suspecting that towards the end of the year, when they start getting a better graphics processing unit, that you're going to start seeing S4 kick ass. It's going to be great. It's going to be so awesome, and it's going to, you know, leave the 4 cores that are the old architecture, it's just a bigger architecture, less efficient, in the dust. So at this current moment, we're starting to really see that dual core is really good. The only time that you're really going to have an issue is that with the Tegra right now, is it has a better graphics processing unit, and also since it does have those 4 designated cores, you can manage multi-threaded gaming if you're going to be using emulators such as the N64oid, or if you're playing heavy 3D gaming, you're going to want to use the quad core just because it has 4 cores that are doing very specialized things, and it also has a really good graphics processing unit. So that's when you have a really good deal with having the 4 cores. But as in day-to-day use and more power efficiency, this can move just as much data through as the quad core version can. And once they get a better graphics processing unit going with the S4 architecture, I know that it's going to be power efficient. You're going to be able to use it with 4G, which is one of the issues, also one of the issues why we didn't get the Tegra 3 version. And it's going to be having a better graphics processing unit. So at this current moment, I would say that you can't really compare them. They're used just for different things. More power efficient 4G version, I would go with the S4. If you're wanting to use it as a super gaming awesome device, then you can go with the older A9 architecture and have the 4 cores that are more specialized with a better graphics processing unit. And in that case, you can play games like more 3D games and emulators. But it doesn't mean that just because that this doesn't have the best graphics processing unit at the moment, that it doesn't play and render games just fine. I've been playing Temple Run, I've been playing Cordy, and I've also been playing N64oid, which is a emulator, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit of those as well on the sides.
Woo! Get away! The gameplay is actually very fast, and seldom does it drop a frame, but it will once in a while. See, that'll happen, where it will freeze like that. And sometimes, if it's a vital moment, that will matter. But usually not.
Alrighty, so let's start off with the form factor. It is a solid piece of polycarbonate plastic, and it is very, very thin, and it is matte finish as well, so it's really nice to hold in the hand. There is the gray version and the white version. I actually prefer the gray version because the white one seems to hold smudges, although I hear that people can wipe it down and it seems to be alright as long as it doesn't get completely marked up or anything. You don't know what you guys do to your phones, but if you are a neat freak like I am, or just are really super OCD about keeping your phone looking nice, get the gray version and give yourself peace of mind so you don't have to worry about seeing any smudges. Although the white is super pretty and very, very unique as well. So, your choice. So, size. Phones keep getting bigger and bigger these days. This is Its Highness, the Galaxy Note here, the absolute biggest phone that I have ever seen. So this is really the form factor comparison, is that this guy still can fit almost inside the screen of this guy here. This guy is so huge, this Galaxy Note. This is a good in-between size. This I can still fit in my pocket and I really like, but I really have been appreciative of downsizing back down to a phone it has a nice big screen, but it doesn't feel overwhelming to hold in the hand. So that's something that's very important. And since it does have a matte finish, it's a little bit grippy, so I don't feel like I'm going to be dropping it as some phones that I have definitely felt that I would drop, like the Galaxy Nexus. It didn't have a matte finish really at all, except for on the back. But this feels extremely nice in hand, you guys. And the size is not a problem. I'll put it in my pocket for you guys so you can see that. But good size. This is good choice, good design. I really do like this.
Here is me sitting in my chair, and you can see that I'm actually able to sit with this phone in my pocket. So, crossing my legs. Now a phone in my pocket. So this is extremely slim and easy just to slip in there, and it stays, and I can sit pretty much without issue, no problems. So quite awesome, you guys. This isn't huge at all. So rest assured, all guys are going to be able to fit this in their jeans as well.
So how about screen? You guys, the screen on this is super, super pretty. That is one thing that I can say is that people have been bashing LCD screens since they've seen AMOLED, Super AMOLED, because of the rich display colors and the really nice blacks, because on displays like Super AMOLED or AMOLED displays, the pixels are actually turned off to create the black, so of course it looks black. But on LCD, it actually has to work to create the black in color rather than just turning off the pixels. But Super LCD 2 displays is where it is, you guys. I can say that this technology is finally at the peak of its beautifulness, and the colors pop, they're rich. Since it isn't pentile, thank goodness it's not pentile like the Galaxy Note. It looks so super rich and awesome that I can't say that I've seen any other display that I would honestly prefer right now. That is something that you guys really, really should keep in mind. I'm going to show a lot of up closes in a second so you can see all the beautifulness in all its glory. This is a nice screen.
So as far as screens go, this is extremely nice, you guys. You should see this. The viewing angles on this thing are really second to none. You can see that even at this angle here, that it almost looks as if this is printed paper. This is really, really nice. Holy cow. Now, if I hold it up really close, you can see just how well the colors pop. This is the little sun on here that's for the weather clock. And I don't know why people say that LCD screens don't pop. Well, these LCD 2 screens certainly do. And if I go even closer, see if you can see any pixels or anything on here. Look at that. It's extremely vibrant and extremely beautiful. Text is extremely sharp. And this is really nice. This is my favorite screen that I have seen so far. I would like to compare it with the viewing angles of my Galaxy Note here as well, so you can see just what we're talking about. AMOLED is supposed to be pretty good with the viewing angles, but let's give this a turn. You can see how much brighter that mine stays as I'm moving it. I don't want to drop either of these. But look at that. Which one would you rather have in terms of viewing angles? Look at this guy. Holy cow. This becomes barely visible as soon as you start going more towards a 180-degree angle. But you bring this up. Wow. The colors are very true and very vibrant on this, you guys. You should see video too. Video is where this guy shines. See that my little example of Harry Potter here. Everything is extremely true to color, and it's really nice because, of course, since it's LCD, it doesn't have any of that black clipping effect that you see with the Super AMOLED Plus display on the Galaxy Note, and that makes me a little bit sad, but now I have this guy, and video is super, super pretty as well. You can see that the viewing angles are still pretty good. This is really, really good out in daylight. I haven't had any issues at all being able to read text out in daylight. This is a phenomenal screen. Whew.
So give it a chance. Super LCD 2 displays rock, you guys. If you think that you have to go only AMOLED to get really rich, super pretty colors, then you're seriously, seriously mistaken and need to reconsider looking at your options. So this is where I'm going to be saying not too good things about the Galaxy S3 that just came out. They decided to go with the Super AMOLED HD display, and I have a problem with that because even though this is a really nice display, it's pentile, and on a really nice HD phone, you don't want to have it not be true HD and have the pentile arrangement. Some people don't notice it. You're either going to really like it or it's going to really start to eat at you. And while I do like this screen, it's starting to eat at me now that I've seen the other options like Super LCD 2. So also, I really hope that they fix this on the Galaxy S3, but blacks during video have such an issue. They look like purple and green and colors that obviously are not black. So I'm kind of just speechless. Why? Why on the S3 did you use the pentile? I know that they're saying if it was possible, we would definitely include the plus to make it a regular red, green, and blue arrangement, but it's, I know, I wouldn't, just for that reason alone of having a really nice display to watch movies on where the blacks display correctly, the HTC One X is your only option right now, you guys. This is awesome. Also, in comparison to Samsung phones like the Galaxy Note, which I'm not bashing, I really do like this phone, but one thing that kind of bothered me is the fact that it doesn't give a 16:9 aspect ratio, where it's 1280 by 720p. This brings it to 800 instead of 720. So you're going to be getting black lines on this, whereas when you're watching a video on this guy, the colors represent completely perfectly and it fits regular like it's supposed to. The aspect ratio, and you're not having any black bars on there, which gets incredibly annoying because it starts to take up the screen real estate. And then you can, of course, hit one of the buttons to get it to fit the display, but then you have to crop it and you don't get everything in the picture, or you can stretch it, but then that kind of makes people sick, I think, sometimes. So I really am appreciative of the longer display.
Ice cream sandwich has been very lightly overlaid with HTC Sense, and it's very snappy still with it on, and it's not supposed to cause much of a battery drain at all. I know that HTC Sense can be sometimes responsible for heavy battery drain, but I'm not seeing any issues. The biggest difference is that I'm seeing is that when you go under your app tray, usually you would see an option for widgets, but instead they have frequent and downloads. You have an instant access to your Play Store, a menu button, which helps you manage apps. So it's pretty handy. I like how they have it. To get to your widgets, though, now you need to touch a blank part of the screen. If there isn't a blank part, well, that makes it hard to get your widgets. If you want to throw something away, you put it up and remove it. And this is how you access your 26 pages of widgets. You can also put your app icons on there as well. HTC Sense and Ice Cream Sandwich offer a lot of pretty cool widgets. My favorites are the calculator, the calendar app, which is really useful, which I got accustomed to on the Galaxy Note. And there's a wide array of clocks. I really do like the weather clock. So there's a lot to look through on here. A lot of dynamic widgets. You can have your live Gmail on there and be able to scroll through it live on the page and check your email from there. So really, really cool, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys. Do not use the stock Android internet browser on this phone. Not only is it horrible and frees up the phone sometimes to where I have to restart it because it just keeps shutting itself down over and over again in like a loop. It is designed so poorly. HTC, what is your problem? So they do have this nifty little thingy down here, which is kind of annoying to access. This is like a menu. You can get to your tabs and blah, blah, blah. But they have removed the tabs bar at the top and instead have replaced it with menu, and then you have to go and scan through it and then you see tabs. So that's really annoying. And not only that, but if you want to access, just say you get a message and you want to access this bar here, the top one that is retardedly superimposed on top of the URL bar right there. What is that? What is that? That's what stupid. Who designed that UI? So if you have a message up here, watch, this thing usually goes away on a timer if you touch it, and it doesn't seem to return until 10 to 15 seconds later because it seems to be on a timer, and nothing you do usually makes it pop up again. So let's see if it'll pop up. Wait for it. Yep, there it is. See, there it is. So what in the world? Don't bother with the stock browser until HTC gets their shit together. Excuse me. Go under this. This is Google Chrome for Android. It's only for Ice Cream Sandwich right now, but this is what the stock browser should be. This is good. See your tabs? This is good. Very good. You can reach your tabs, and then there's the menu button too. Oh boy. So use the Chrome browser.
So the one bad thing to keep in mind with anything that is a unibody design like this is that the battery is not user removable. So the battery is as is. There's going to be a couple different options, such as the PowerSkin. PowerSkin is coming out with a case that has a battery that's actually enclosed in that silicone case so that it will charge your battery. And you've seen a lot of those, such as with the iPhone. That's a major option. So that's something that you want to keep in mind, is that the battery power is as is. But Mugen Batteries is also coming out with an extended battery. If you have the ability and you're not faint of heart, you can actually disassemble this guy and install the battery yourself and solder it to the motherboard. But again, that's not for the faint of heart, and it's an option, and they're thinking about it, but I don't know if that's actually going to come out. So just keep in mind that the battery is as is. So I really do like this case design, and since it feels so nice in hand, I'm willing to jeopardize having the lower battery power as long as I do have options such as battery cases or external batteries that you can plug it into, or car chargers. But that's an extra thing to keep in mind for such a nice phone. And I know that's a trend that's happening right now. Usually phones will get thinner, and then you'll see them get bigger. So it's just part of the trend right now and something that you'll have to deal with. But it is all in all, it's a really nice form factor. I really like the feeling, and I'm happy. And when I get into battery life, I think you'll be happy with it too. So, battery life. That is something really important to consider, especially because with the form factor being, well, a single unibody design. You heard about all that just a second ago. The batteries is actually pretty good. I've actually been pretty satisfied. So I went down to Disneyland and I got about 11 and a half hours of use with moderate use. That means my email constantly checking. It was a very heavy bloated network out there. I browsed the internet a lot, so I had the screen probably on for 2.5 hours. So you're getting about 12 hours with moderate use, or maybe for some of you guys it's considered heavy use. But it does get you through the day. If you are an extremely heavy user where you're playing a lot of games, you're definitely going to need a solution like a PowerSkin case or one of those external battery packs so you can plug it into it. There's no other way to really cut that. But in general use, this should get you through the day just fine, and you shouldn't have to worry about it. But if you're a heavy user and you're using a lot of games, graphic intensive things, or have the screen on constantly watching movies, get a PowerSkin when that comes out, or look at extra battery options. So you can see that the camera protrudes a little bit, and you will want to find a case that makes sure to cover that. And otherwise, it's really just an opening right here for your charging port. You've got a volume rocker, you've got your standard headphone jack, a microphone, your power button, and a microphone on the bottom. And really, that's all. That's really all for ports, except for, of course, your SIM card slot and place for your front-facing camera. One thing that I really have to dock it for is the fact that it doesn't have a dedicated camera key. I know that's because it is a very minimalist design, but it becomes a little bit of an issue if you are trying to take a picture with your friend. I noticed as I was on a Disneyland ride, I'll show you some pictures in a little bit, that you have to rely on the timer rather than being able, you can't sit there and fiddle and try to find the button. So I really wish that it had a dedicated camera key, because the camera is really cool on this guy. The one thing that I worry about with this phone here is that since it does have such a minimalist bezel, I worry that there's a possibility that you can damage the screen. If you can see, I'll also do an up close with my camera, looks like the screen is curved, but it's actually not. It's just that the screen is not protected by anything. It protrudes upward. And that's an issue if you use tight cases. I have an OtterBox case and I went and bought and took it off because I don't think I'm going to be able to get it back on, A, and I'm afraid of hurting my screen again, B. So it seems to push on the bezel-less screen, and it pushes in on the liquid crystal. And that bothers me because I don't know if it's going to cause any type of damage over prolonged periods of time doing that. So keep that in mind. You'll probably want a loose case, something like a TPU case or a silicone case, although I think that the case of choice is going to be TPU cases because they are easy to slip in pocket and they're not really extremely grippy and attract lint like the silicone cases do. So keep that in mind. It's something that you really want to focus on, is being careful with the cases that you use. OtterBox case is great. I might put it on for you, I don't know. But it's a little bit scary. Oh, and candy shell cases. That's a no-no. That's a big, bad situation. I went into the AT&T store and was like, here, I want a case. Can you help me find one? And they're like, oh, sure, yeah, we can help you out with that. So we go over to the counter and they pull all these cases out, all these really cool looking candy shell cases, a pretty badass looking red one. I wanted that. We put it in the case. We couldn't get it out. We spent 20 minutes trying to get this phone out of the case. And they're like, ooh, because they're pushing on it and it's squishing that LCD screen. So save yourself the aggravation, stay away from extremely tight-fitting cases, and go with silicone or TPU. SGP, I hope they come out with a really awesome one soon. And I think Cruiser Light has one, except for it's for the international version, and they should be coming out with the AT&T one, and it has a really cute little Android on the back. TPU cases is the point. Be careful, you guys. This guy's strong, but it has a delicate screen. Storage options. So, thanks AT&T. That's all I can say right now. Is the mix between AT&T and HTC decided to give us only 16 gigabytes worth of storage, and you don't even get 16 gigabytes worth of storage. You get more like 10. And that's pretty paltry, annoying, and kind of sickeningly sad. Unless you're a normal consumer who doesn't really need all that extra space. But for normal users, I kind of feel like I've been kicked in the face with just 16 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes because 2 gigabytes goes to just apps to install. So the other parts go to the operating system itself, where only 10 is usable. And that really looks, some people can't even store their music on 10 gigabytes. So what they've done is provide you with Dropbox, and also Google Music is important. And in the United Kingdom, it's kind of a problem, although I don't think they'll be using the LTE version. But here in America, at least, you can use Google Music and you can upload your music onto Google Music and stream it. And the same thing, it's the same principle with Dropbox, where you upload your movies or music or whatever and you have it streamed downward. So what happens then if you are having low memory on your phone all the time and needing to stream content? Well, we only get 3 gigabytes of data on AT&T, and that makes me a little bit sad. But it's manageable. I'm at home a lot, so I use Wi-Fi. I recommend really just using Wi-Fi if you're going to be at home. That way you can use your data out in the world for all the other things that you do and not have to worry about using so much of it. And it's been working out pretty well for me at this moment. I noticed that data can be used, obviously, extremely quickly with 4G. So keep that in mind. You'll probably want a really nice data program. I know that Ice Cream Sandwich has a data management built in where you can have it actually turn off data once it hits your mark of 3 gigabytes so that you don't have to pay $10 extra a month. But otherwise, I recommend a program called My Data Manager, and it tells you on a hourly basis or daily basis, really, how much data you're using so that you don't have to freak out and think that you're using too much. So it has a cool little widget and it's sitting there, so I can just say, hey, how much data am I using? It says that I have 12 days left of my plan and I've used, well, you see, you need to set this up first to make sure that it's on your cycle, because right now the mobile data isn't correct, but at least I can tell how much I'm using, you know, on a day-to-day basis.
That even though it is an ice cream sandwich phone, if you pull the drop down here and hit where it says charge only, you are given the option to use charge only or to mount it as a disk drive. A lot of ice cream sandwich devices, including the Galaxy Nexus, you don't have the ability to use mounting disk drive, which is a little bit frustrating. You can only use the media transfer protocol with something like Android file transfer or using the Windows media transfer. So that's a little bit annoying, but you do get a lot of options on here. Charge only, disk drive, you have the hot sync manager, you have USB tethering if you want to tether. You've got media sync, which is the MTP, and then internet pass-through.
So how about all the antennas and the 4G speeds on this phone? To start off with, the GPS gets a really fast fix and it stays connected, so there's no issues at all with the GPS. This is a really good option for that. As far as call quality itself, I noticed that it's really nice, and I get really terrible reception in this house. It's kind of sad. But at 2 bars, I'm still getting about 15 megabits per second down with LTE. So that's excellent. The 4G is very fast, and the antenna seems to really be catching that signal and holding it, even though I don't get the best reception. And I do know that HTC does make some pretty good antennas most of the time, so keep that in mind. It's a pretty good phone. It's a pretty good phone. The GPS is great, and the Wi-Fi as well. I haven't had any issues. Some phones are kind of shoddy with the Wi-Fi. I've been all over my house using Wi-Fi because I'm afraid of using too much data, and it works just fine. So Wi-Fi, GPS, and the phone itself, they're all great, and definitely something to consider when getting this phone. It works really well as a phone for your basic everyday antennas. The texting keyboard on here is a real treat to type on. A lot of people don't like it. The reason being is it's very crowded. You can see you've got all your arrow buttons. You've got your keyboard as a pure button. And you've also got a voice recognition key all in the same place. But the autocorrection is where this phone really shines. Let's see if I can show you. Hello there. Although one of the things is that the space bar is so tiny that it's really easy to hit those periods there. So it says hello dot there. And I don't like that too much, but let's see. How are you doing today? So it says, how ate you doing today? You can see it's putting a lot of periods in there. Let's try that again. Being more mindful of the bar down here. See that? Really, it's really small. Hello there. How are you doing today? There you are. See, I did that fairly quickly with a very crowded keyboard, and with a little bit of practice, I think you'll get a hang of it. And it's not too bad, and autocorrection is hard to beat, so pretty cool. Beats Audio. Is that a gimmick, or is it actually pretty cool? I have a little bit of mixed opinions about the Beats Audio. They say it's integrated throughout the entire system and that you can listen to it in apps. You can tell the difference in music, on YouTube, on anything that you do on the phone. The thing is that I noticed that you actually have to have the headphones plugged in order to get those equalizer settings. So you can see it in pretty much everything, but you have to have your headphones plugged in. And I know people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference just through the little minuscule speakers here, but I was excited and then realized, oh duh, you have to have the earphones plugged in. Hello. So not only can you decide to have Beats on all the different applications when your headphones are plugged in, you can also have other types of equalizer settings like live settings or bass boost settings. I thought that the bass boost settings actually sounded better than the Beats Audio itself. I noticed with the Beats Audio it just kind of messes with the equalizer settings, and I had one of the HTC watch videos on there. I was watching Contagion, and the Beats Audio created a lot of distortion in the video, so I ended up just turning that off, and I went with the bass boost instead, and it sounded better. So the Beats is kind of cool, but it's also not completely awesome. I think if you have Beats Audio buds where it's meant to have that full immersion feeling, that it's better, but otherwise it's more of a gimmick, and I really do like the other equalizer settings, which is kind of funny. But it's cool that all throughout the phone, I've noticed that you can mess around with the settings and have more bass in a game or less, or it's pretty cool to be able to mess around with the equalizer settings all over the phone itself. So something to keep in mind before you buy this device at this current moment is that the bootloader is locked. Thank you, AT&T. That has nothing to do with HTC. They've actually been quite awesome and have been unlocking bootloaders on various devices. Heck, the bootloader is unlocked on the Tegra version, and it's even unlocked on the international version of the XL, or, the HTC One XL, which is this guy. But no, AT&T decided to keep it locked. So what does that mean exactly? If you wanted to take it home right away and load a custom ROM of vanilla ice cream sandwich, you can't do that right now. What you can do is you can root the phone. So you already on XDA, I'll put a link for you guys. There's awesome developers over there who've already one-click rooted it, so you should be able to do it on Windows. I don't know if the one-click is for Mac yet. I'll definitely check that, but it does have a one-click, so it's easy. You can just plug into the computers, make sure to download the drivers, hit the unroot button, or root whatever, and then you have a nice rooted device, and you can take off whatever apps you don't want. I'm sure you can tether it at that point. So I know that somebody on XDA, one of the awesome developers, is going to figure out how to unlock the bootloader on this guy, but keep that in mind for right now. Maybe somewhere in the near future, AT&T will decide, if AT&T will decide, they're not gonna, AT&T, I'm pretty sure, isn't gonna let it be unlocked or have the bootloader unlocked, so don't count on that through them, but there are awesome developers who I'm sure will figure out how to fix this situation. So, last but not least, how about the camera? I really like the camera on this thing. It's got a lot of different features. I really like that it has the burst mode so that you can take several pictures in a lineup and you can choose out of the best of 20. It will even suggest which one it thinks is best. So that's pretty neat. The one issue I've noticed is that when you have a shutter speed that's extremely fast like that, is that it doesn't take much time to focus. So that's your job beforehand to tap the screen to focus. So it's a tap to focus and then hit the shutter button. So if you're trying to catch a fast-moving shot really quickly, I noticed that the photos will be actually kind of blurry. But if you are planning on doing any type of fast-motion shot, use the burst mode. That's what burst mode is for anyway. So hold it down, and it will immediately start taking a succession of 20 pictures, and then you can pick which one is in the best focus. And it's got a panoramic feature, it's got distortion, it's got depth of field. So that's really cool, is that you can take pictures. With depth of field, you are basically able to keep one specific thing in focus and have a nice bokeh or a blur everywhere else. So that is quite cool. And for people who are photography enthusiasts, I think you will definitely like the camera on this phone. It's neat and it's cute. And the front-facing camera is actually really cool as well, and I was messing with that. And you can use the features on the front-facing camera. So I really like this phone, you guys. I'm going to show you some examples of video.
Bright LED. Woo! It's extremely bright. Very nice. Haunted Mansion, yeah. Jiminy Cricket, Pascal, and Yzma.
One thing that I didn't really like is it's a little bit jittery with the image stabilization. You do have an option to turn on and off the stabilization, but I didn't, even with the stabilization on, I wasn't too much a fan of that. But it does pretty well in low light. It's really good with details. I would say it's comparable to the iPhone 4S camera, and I like it. This is the definite best camera that I've seen on any Android phone. It's going to be hard to compete with, although I know that technology goes so fast and there are better things in the future, but I will be forever happy for the life of this phone with the camera on it. So to wrap it up, which phone is best? The S4 version, the quad-core version of the One X, or maybe even the Galaxy S3? I'm extremely excited to see the processing capabilities of the S3 because I know it's going to be on a newer architecture rather than the A9 as well. So you're going to have a quad-core phone on a more power-efficient architecture, and it's going to be extremely fast as well. The only thing I don't really like is the screen, so I'm just waiting a little bit further down the road to join Samsung again with their phones. But a lot of people are going to be very enthusiastic about the processor, and I am enthusiastic about it, but I'm not ready to drop just yet. Although I might review it. We'll see if I can get a hold of it. That'd be pretty cool, right? But for me right now, I like the S4. I really like the LTE. The only thing is that when we get a carrier branded version of the S3, it's probably going to be LTE, and it's probably not going to have quad core. Sorry, you guys. That's probably not going to happen unless they segment it and have it like they do with the Galaxy S2, where you have the S2 and then you have the Skyrocket, which is 4G. So we will have to see. We will definitely have to see, but I'm excited for all the phones that are coming out, and this is a really good one for now. So make your choice. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm extremely, extremely appreciative. It means a lot to me to have you guys rating and commenting and subscribing. And I also have a Twitter now. It's @IamErica, so @ and then I am, which is one word, _ Erica. And I'm on there, and I will post when new videos come out, or I'll just be doing random things in my day-to-day life, telling you guys how things are going. So follow me on there. I also have a Facebook, which I have been swearing that I'm going to change into a businessy fan page type thing. And then I'm supposed to create an extra page, so that would be my personal page. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I can't thank you guys enough. And this is the HTC One X. I'm Erica, the technology nerd who likes to film stuff, and have a great day. Bye, guys. And to Cheka, who says, hey, do you really sing? Can you show me a little bit, please? Yes, I do sing. I'm really nerdy, and I like to sing. So, I'll do a little bit for you. Disney inspired because, well, I did go to Disneyland. So how about Ariel? So, see if I can do this on camera point blank. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. There you go. Bye.